Michelle Alcoholic. I really loved that there was so many newcomers in this meeting. I've been joking with my friends that I'm on a Zoom world tour, speaking on panels because I had one yesterday in an Asian American. And so I was the lead yesterday. And it's funny how God opens doors that you never expected. When I joined ROYPAA, I never thought that I would be speaking on Zooms, but I really need it. And so I'm very grateful to be able to be here tonight and give a little bit of my experience, strength, and hope. Again, my name is Michelle. I'm from Mississippi. I My sobriety date is 4/7/2011. I just celebrated 14 years last month. And yeah, I I'm very grateful for that. Um, and so I didn't know how to start it off. Um, but what I am going to do as a default is to read a part of the book and just kind of give my experience, strength, and hope off of that. And hopefully somebody will get something out of it. Um, and it's one of my favorite readings and a reading that really hit me pretty hard in early recovery. And it's in A Vision for You on page 151. Um, and it says, for most normal folks, drinking means conviviality, companionship, and colorful imagination. It means release from care, boredom, and worry. It is joyous intimacy with friends and a feeling that life is good. But not so with us in those last days of heavy drinking. The old pleasures were gone. They were but memories. Never could we recapture the great moments of the past. There was an insistent yearning to enjoy life as we once did, and a heartbreaking obsession that some new miracle of control would enable us to do it. There was always one more attempt and one more failure. The less people tolerated us, the more we withdrew from society, from life itself, as we became subjects of King Alcohol, shivering denizens of his mad realm. The chilling vapor that is loneliness settled down. It thickened, ever becoming blacker. Some of us sought out sordid places, hoping to find understanding, companionship, and approval. Momentarily we did, then would come oblivion and the awful awakening to face the hideous four horsemen: terror, bewilderment, frustration, and despair. Unhappy drinkers who read this page will understand. And yeah, so I am a very emotional and dramatic alcoholic, and I was able to relate to people who were also emotional and dramatic. And I find that a lot in the rooms are, and I love the ones that say that they're weird. I mean, it's just so amazing the different types of people that I have been able to meet in these rooms. Just people that I would have never expected to meet on a certain level. So, the first time I ever took a drink, I was 12 or 13. I had snuck out of my house at midnight. I lived next door to a guy that was a year older than me, and they were having a big party. I could hear them. And so I snuck out, football guys, right? And I was a cheerleader. So I snuck out. I went and I was offered beer, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll try it. It was hot. It tasted like piss. It was horrible. But I think that most girls in my position, actually, I know most girls in my position would have been like, I'm good. Like, that's disgusting. I don't want any more. But there was something in me, and I'd already been depressed for years. Like, from third grade, I remember feeling different. And like when I was in the fourth grade, I lied to people trying to tell them I had cancer because I felt like that was different. And like I saw how the one girl that had cancer got attention, and I felt like I needed that attention. I felt like I was suppressed so much to the point where it's like I had to lie just to get some sort of companionship, to get some sort of something of somebody to understand me and get me right. And so when I drank the first time, um it wasn't the first beer, I don't think. And I don't remember them really asking me anymore after that if I wanted more. I think that I just kind of took it upon myself to drink more. Um, and my allergy, I learned then and later on, even more so, that it also not only manifests in drinking more to a blackout, but it also manifests in using party favors, right? Outside issues, if you will. And so from the start, I drank alcoholically. The next morning, I woke up, or I came to, and some bad things had happened the night before. I was too coherent to stand up for myself. Like, I just, like, it was like nothing bothered me. I was okay the next morning. Like again, like most normal girls in my position would have stopped. They would have never gone back. They would have never continued to go back into that lifestyle. And I did. And like in my soul, it was like I had finally gotten home. Like, I can drink and like I can feel whatever fucking way I want to. And I just, what a weird thing. And so, since I was so young, I lived for the weekends, right? Like, for the first couple years of my drinking, I couldn't wait until the weekend so I could sneak out and get caught and get in trouble and it was just over and over and over and over. Like, I don't know how my mom didn't, kill me or herself during this time, right? I mean, because that would just drive her crazy. She would be worried about me, up till 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning whenever I came back. And I just did not give a shit because I was going to get drunk. She couldn't stop me. Um, I'm pretty sure if she could have locked me up in a cage, she would have. And it probably would have been better for me. But yeah, so when I got 15, 16, I started doing them in school. I didn't give a shit. Actually, I was talking to somebody about it last night. One of the times I was doing alcohol and drugs at school, they had a freaking fire drill, and I panicked so bad because I thought I was going to get caught, and I just left school at like 9 o'clock in the morning. And I've heard so many stories exactly like that with people in these rooms, right? Um, no, I just thought I was terminally unique. I've been hearing that so much lately. I don't use that. I don't know that I've heard that very often, but I definitely feel terminally unique. Um, and so time went on. I was pretty normal, like as far as on the outside, right? I was a cheerleader. I joined the Catholic Church when I was like 13, 14 for whatever reason. Um, when I got 15, I had a boyfriend. I ended up pregnant at 17, had her at 18. Um, that's not normal, but it happened. Um, I mean, I was doing so many drugs before I got pregnant with her, and I did a lot just before I found out I was pregnant, and thank God I was able to stop during that time. But I don't know how I was able. I'm pretty sure it was the grace of God, like, that made me stop during that pregnancy because I have that manifestation of allergy. I don't know, maybe my disease just wasn't progressed yet. Um, so when I had her, I stayed sober for like a year, right? And I was like, all right, I got a kid. And it wasn't that I was actively trying to stay sober. It was just like, I can't really be in that lifestyle because I have a kid now. So it kind of gets in the way, right? Um, well, her dad gets further into his disease, and I get a call after her birthday party, which is, April Fool's. It's her birthday's April 2nd, but her birthday party was April Fool's. And it was like, hey, Jackson's not waking up and we can't wake him up. And like, we don't know what to do. And it's like, you fucking idiots, call the ambulance. Like, why are you calling me? You live almost an hour away from. Call the ambulance. I'll meet y'all at the hospital. And so at 19 years old, terminally unique, still feeling pretty suppressed as a person because my communication with my parents was like zero, right? My parents are not emotional people. They don't know how to have hard conversations. The best way that they can deal with things is disassociate and keep moving, right? And so that's how I learned how to deal and cope. So anyways, I go to the hospital and he's on the life support for days, and finally they're like, he's a he's going to be a vegetable. So, say your goodbyes and let us know when you're ready to pull the plug. Right. And that wasn't my decision. That was his mother's. But I don't know how she did it as a mom, like, pulling that plug on him, knowing that, that would be it for her. And yeah, so that's really where my disease started to progress. I watched him die. I tried to get on antidepressants, but I knew that I could self medicate and I could feel exactly the way I wanted to feel and that I could get out. And like I would be that girl at the party that was like, "Oh, I've never grieved my baby daddy's death." And people would be like, "The fuck? This bitch is crazy," right? And I was not okay. And um so for 3 years I wrote it out. I wrote it out hard. I tried to make a life with another person, but it was more or less a rebound. I needed somebody there that was stable, that could help me raise my kid because I was so depressed. And I didn't even know that I was dealing with postpartum depression at the same time. Plus, I was drinking and using so much. And I just really went down. And that person eventually got tired of it. And so she put me out, and uh, I put my kid between her grandparents every day, because I couldn't. At that point, my disease had progressed so much, and I said this in the meeting last night, that like, I couldn't even stop for the love of my child, right? Like, I loved my kid so much, like, and especially knowing that I was her only parent, like, I couldn't, right? Like, I knew it was better for her to go with her grandparents, but she would always wait for me in the window. And my parents would tell me that, and they would be like, please. And they would just like beg me to just, come home and like change and be different. They didn't understand. Like, they don't know why. Like, why do I have to be like this? And I didn't know why I had to be like that, right? Like, all I knew is that I just didn't care anymore. And I was too coward to actually kill myself. Um, so I just kept drinking and using. Um, Finally, one day, I don't know why, of all the times that his mother could have, my baby daddy's mother could have stopped, she chose around my daughter's birthday again. And she said, look, your lifestyle is so bad. And if you are going to keep on like this, then you need to let us have Sam, and you can go on to the bitter end, because we can't keep watching this. She's suffering. And they were right, but I still tried to fight it. I still tried to call the people, like my family, and I still tried to call people around me and be like, hey, like, help me get my kid. Like, there's got to be something I can do to give them, right? But her grandpa was a lawyer, so I was kind of fucked anyway. So I just gave up, when nobody was help, like, having my back, like the jig was up, like, you're gonna have to do something different. um so unwillingly I went, right? And ironically, and I didn't even realize it until later on, into rehab, but I went to rehab the day before the anniversary of his death, right? And it's just like, wow, um and so, like, every year now, not only do I get to celebrate my sobriety and my life, like it says in the book, like, or somewhere, that some of us have to die so that others can live. And like, I guess he was that person in my life that had to die so I could live. And I get so angry because it's like, I don't want to live. Like, it's like sometimes I struggle, right? Sometimes I'm like, this is too hard. Life is fucking hard. The easier, softer way is not fucking being sober. Let's just be fucking real, right? Life be fucking life and kicking my butt day in and day out sometimes. But I went to rehab and I heard that this was a disease. And I thought, why me, God? Like, I was really pissed off at God about that. Um, And there was a lot of things that I had to fight with God about for the first few years, right? And I said this last night, like it took me years of staying sober and off of things to really come back to, right? Like to come back to earth. Um, those first 3 years, I mean, I lived in Delulu land. Like the only thing I knew was that I had to find something stronger than my drugs of choice because like just living, just chilling, right, is not strong enough for me to want to stay sober. Um, and so, yeah, well, I mean, later on in the vision for you, it talks about, like, or somewhere where it talks about, like you're going to have a fellowship grow up about you. And so in the last 14 years, I have made wonderful friends. I have seen people come and go. I have made amends that I never thought I would ever make. That kid that I neglected for over 2 years, right? I ended up raising her, her entire life up until she's 18 now, right? And we don't have the best. Well, she's going through her teenage angst now, um, but I don't have to take those things personally, right? Like I can just know because of this program and what you guys have done for me is that I have been the best mother that I could have ever possibly be, day in and day out, um, and making those amends to her. Um, and that on those days that I want to drink, it's normal. Like I'm an alcoholic, and so don't feel. I mean, I'm real heavy on we don't shoot our wounded. I've actually been shot in sobriety. I'll talk about that in a second. But we don't shoot our wounded. Like I just don't believe in kicking somebody when they're down. Like, and I see that happen a lot, especially with old timers, like, or other people that are just like, oh, well, maybe they should do this. Well, like, who are you? Like, this program is all inclusive. Like, who are you? Because for the grace of God, there go I. Like, I was that hopeless alcoholic. And if you drank like me, it's a miracle that you're still here today, you know? And so for those who are struggling, like, please just come back. Like, I don't care. I'm one of those people. You can come to me and tell me you just did something, and I am not going to be mad at you, right? I will offer you whatever you need to stop. I'm not going to tie anybody down. Um, but yeah, so just to kind of get a little current, I left a domestic violence situation. I had gotten shot in the face with a 9 millimeter bullet. Um, it was an accident. Um, and I shouldn't have lived. It entered my cheek and exited my temple. I lost my left eye as a result. Almost lost my right eye. Everything in my face was completely shattered, and nothing in my face is truly mine. Everything is held together by nuts, bolts, screws. My jaw came, completely detached, and like I was so scared that I was not going to be able to stay sober through that, right? Because I knew that like there were things, outside issues that I was going to have to take to heal, right? And I was also pregnant, so it was like, how do I deal with that? Um, and I did. I, worked with my sponsor. I had very close friends. They came, they stayed up my butt. They did not let me suffer. They did not. I mean, and I had been tapped out at AA for a while, so like I didn't even expect them to come like they did, and they fucking did. And I'm so grateful for that because it saved my life. It made me leave that abusive relationship. And like I've just hopped right back into service and all this kind of stuff. And like I'm scared just like any other alcoholic. Like when I meet new people, I always feel like I'm on the outside, and I'm always afraid. But the only way I can overcome that is to constantly make myself vulnerable and allow myself and you guys to feel what I feel and accept the love that you guys are willing to give. Um, and I think that's really all I got. Thank you so much for letting me share. I'll keep coming back.